Hello, everyone. Welcome to 360 on History. Please check out our website, 360onhistory.com. Join us on social media. And of course, check out our YouTube channel, 360 on History. So, today is episode 94 of the 360 on History podcast. We're going to be reaching 100 soon. And I'm very excited about this. Today, we are going to talk about Noor Inayat Khan, who was the first female wireless operator to be sent from the UK into occupied France to help the French resistance during World War II. It is part of our Fantastic Women series. So, Britain's Special Operations Executive, or SOE, was established to conduct espionage, sabotage, and reconnaissance in countries ruled by the Axis powers, specifically those countries occupied by Nazi Germany. Noor Inayat Khan was an SOE agent. Her code name was Madeline, and she was sent to France in 1943 as a wireless operator to help the French resistance during World War II. Her job was to support the French resistance network known as Prosper. So let's start with her family and childhood. Noor was born in Moscow on January 1st, 1914, the eldest of 4 children. As the great-great-granddaughter of Tipu Sultan, who was the ruler of Mysore, a princely state in India, she was descendant from royalty. Her father, Hazrat Inayat Khan, was a Sufi teacher, and her mother, Aura Ray Baker, was an American poet. Her brother Velayat became the head of the Sufi Order of the West, which later became the Inayati Order. Now, from all accounts, Noor's childhood was happy and loving, with philosophy, music, religious teaching as part of her daily routine. Her family moved to Britain from Moscow in 1914 to live in Bloomsbury in London. And in 1920, they moved to Paris, France. Her father's sudden death in 1927 had a huge impact, and Noor had to take responsibility of looking after her siblings to help her mother, who was grieving immensely. In France, Noor studied child psychology at the Sorbonne and also music at the Paris Conservatory, composing for both harp and piano. She subsequently began writing as a young woman and published her poetry and children's stories in English and French to children's magazines, and they were also aired on French radio. Noor's life changed again when France was occupied by Nazi Germany, and she and her family had to flee to Britain in June 1940. Even though she was a pacifist, Noor wanted to contribute to the war effort. So, she joined the Women's Auxiliary Air Force, and as an aircraft woman second class, was sent to be trained as a wireless operator, where she also learned Morse code. She was subsequently recruited to the Special Operations Executive after one interview and was given special training as a wireless operator in occupied territory. At the SOE, she was provided training on survival skills, weapons, and how to keep secret codes to supplement her Morse code training. Surprisingly, her reports from this time are not very complimentary, and her superiors had mixed opinion about her abilities. Her superiors did not think that she would be able to handle herself in enemy territory. Through all this, though, Noor remained committed to her SOE work. So, when the Parisian SOE chapter needed a wireless operator, she was chosen. And although some fellow agents wrote to her intelligence officer concerned that she should not go, Noor's fluent French and her competency in wireless operation, coupled with a shortage of experienced agents, made her a desirable candidate for service in Nazi-occupied France. She was sent to Paris in June 1943 with the code name Madeline and the profession of a children's nurse. She was given the name Jean Marie Renier as a cover. Noor immediately began working for the Prosper Network as a secret agent. Her main job was to communicate with the SOE in Britain, as well as to coordinate other agents' arrival and the supply of weapons for the resistance. Noor's job as a secret agent was extremely dangerous. The fact that she carried the tool of her trade A wireless set in a suitcase around with her meant that she could be caught at any time, or if she was caught, she would be discovered by the Nazis. In 1943, an operator's life expectancy was only 6 weeks. Soon after her arrival in Paris, though, the Prosper network was in jeopardy. It had been infiltrated by the Gestapo and its agents were arrested. Even after Prosper was disbanded, Noor stayed on to maintain the wireless contact with Britain, even though she was asked to come home. At this point, she was told only to receive signals, not to transmit them. The Gestapo were on high alert to catch her and had put a reward of 100,000 francs on her head. Historians think that Noor was eventually betrayed for 10,000 francs by a French woman who thought that the man she loved was more interested in Noor. When the Gestapo arrested her, they didn't just apprehend her, they also confiscated her notebooks, where unfortunately she had copied her encrypted communications and plain text messages to SCO. We don't know why she did that. She was taken to and interrogated at the SD headquarters in Paris. During that time, she attempted to escape twice. Hans Keifer, the former head of the SD in Paris, testified after the war that Noor did not provide the Gestapo with any information and, in fact, had lied consistently. So, it turns out that the people back home who thought that she was not suitable for secret warfare were wrong. Although Noor refused to reveal any secret codes, the Germans gained enough information from her notebooks to continue sending false messages imitating her. She refused to sign a declaration renouncing future escape attempts, so Noor was taken to Germany on the 27th of November 1943 for safe custody and kept in solitary confinement as a night and fog, which was Nacht und Nebel in German and technically meant condemned to disappearance without trace. She remained there for 10 months, her hands and feet shackled. Noor did manage to inform another inmate of her identity by scratching messages on the base of a cup, writing her other name, Nora Baker, and the London address of her mother's house. Finally, on 12 September 1944, Noor Inayat Khan was abruptly transferred to the Dachau concentration camp along with 3 fellow agents. The 4 women were executed at dawn the following morning. In 1958, an anonymous Dutch prisoner revealed that Noor was cruelly beaten by an SS officer before she was shot from behind. Her last word was said to be "Liberté." Noor Inayat Khan was posthumously awarded the George Cross in 1949 as well as the French Cross. In 2011, £100,000 were raised to build a bronze bust of her to be placed in central London near her former home. It was unveiled by the Princess Royal on 8 November 2012 in Gordon Square Gardens, Bloomsbury, London. You can actually go and see it. She was also commemorated on a Royal Mail stamp on 25th March 2014 in a set about remarkable lives. Noor was honoured with a blue plaque on 25th February in 2019 at her wartime London home at 4 Taverton Street in Bloomsbury. This was the house that she had left on her final and fatal mission and the address that she wrote onto her bowl while in prison so that she could be identified. Noor Inayat Khan was the first woman of South Asian descent to have a blue plaque in her honor. You can see the picture of her bust and the blue plaque as well as of Noor on our website 360 on History, where we have a blog on her. Thank you for joining me on 360 on History, and I will see you again next time.